Steve Fletcher here, and welcome to Vinyl Corner for... It is August 2023, however, I didn't do a Vinyl Corner in July, which brings me to a very important reason, actually, because I've been mostly, at the end of July, beginning of August, I was on tour, been going all up and down the country with my solo acoustic rock, folk rock thing. I need to really think about how I'm going to introduce this, but the Breaded Churchman is my sort of solo performing alter ego. It would be wonderful, before we got any further, if you could like this video and subscribe to my YouTube page, but if you could also follow the link here, or if it's not appeared there, then you can also find the link to the Breaded Churchman YouTube page down there in the descriptions, and it would really be much appreciated if you could follow, subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz to help feed my algorithm throughout the YouTube universe. Thank you very much indeed. That's my sales pitch over. I thank you very much. Now, so today, so because I didn't do a Vinyl Corner in July, I was on tour, I've been going all over the place and been very busy. This kind of covers 2 months worth of vinyl purchases. Now, at first glance, it does look like I've gone a bit crazy. I've got a huge pile, and some quite big boxes. So sort of, yeah, financially, it does look like I've gone a bit mad. But, dear reader, now that's wrong. Dear viewer, I'm sure you're all worried about my financial dire straits, which is why you need to subscribe to my YouTube page to help to pay the bills. But no, I haven't gone that crazy. It is my birthday in August, so I did receive quite a lot of gift vouchers and cash and stuff like that. So I've spent all my birthday money on vinyl, pretty much. There's quite a bit of vintage stuff in there, and I did get one ridiculous bargain of a box set, which I'm going to tell you about in a little while. So, without any further ado, I did mention subscribing, didn't I? Without any further ado, let's crack on. So to get started, this is a really stupid one. I don't know if anyone noticed on Netflix, but there was the Wham documentary. So a few weeks, like all anyone could talk about was Wham. And I watched it. I thought it was a great documentary. Obviously, I'm too young, aren't I, to have ever seen Wham back in the day. I did see George Michael very briefly. He was a guest of Paul McCartney at the Live 8 concert in 2005. He just kind of ran on and sang backing vocals to Drive My Car and then ran off again. So it was really strange. And then we had some dinner with some friends and, oh, did you see the Wham documentary, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And literally the next day, I went into 2 charity shops. I do shop in charity shops quite a lot, and saw in 2 completely separate charity shops, which I've never seen before, is the Careless Whisper single. And I just thought, well, I'm going to have to get that. This one, as you can see, is in quite bad condition. So I'm not expecting very much of this, although the record itself looks quite good there. But what drew me to it, I mean, I don't know very much about George Michael and Wham. I mean, he was still in Wham when he did this. In fact, it's credited to Andrew Ridgeley as well. The thing that drew me to him was it's obviously this is the 12-inch, but it's 2 completely separate bits of artwork on there. And being a bit of a sort of a sucker for any excuse to have a collectible series on the go, I thought I'm going to have to get these. So that's why I bought George Michael and Careless Whisper. Now this is an odd one, and I'm a bit disappointed in this one, if I'm brutally honest. Again, this is a charity shop purchase, so this is a vintage vinyl, and I do try and avoid vintage vinyls because I just generally want my vinyls to sound as good as they possibly can, so I tend to aim for new stuff. This is The Firm, which was a short-lived supergroup featuring Jimmy Page and Paul Rodgers and people who I can't remember now. And I saw this again in a charity shop, and I thought, wow, I've never seen that before. I've heard of The Firm. I've never seen that before. That must be a bargain. Oh, here we go. Tony Franklin and Chris Slade. So I bought it. I paid 15 quid for it, which I do think was a lot of money, actually, for what it is. Then I've gone on to Discogs which is where I catalogue all my vinyl, and have since discovered that you can probably get this for about £3. So I'm a bit annoyed that I think I've been reamed a little bit by the charity shop, but it's for charity. What are you going to do? Support your local charity shop, for crying out loud. But yeah, you know, in the blues rock genre, this is quite an interesting one to get from 1985. I haven't spun it yet. I don't know very much about it, but I think it's quite an interesting edition, quite frankly. And again, to finish off with the charity shop purchases, I'm not guilty, I'm not sorry, but I am a sucker for well-crafted, well-written pop music. You know, I love my prog, I love my, you know, Pink Floyd, I love Queen, I love rock, I love the blue, I love everything. But all of my music, for all my musical snobbery, which I wear quite proudly on my sleeve, I am not averse to a well-written, brilliantly put together pop song. Up there for well-written, brilliantly crafted pop songs, you've got ABBA and you've got the Bee Gees. So yeah, this is was again bought from a charity shop. It is vintage vinyl, i.e. it's old, but it's in remarkably good condition for a £5. So I'm really quite pleased that I got this. So there you go. And yeah, the vinyl is in excellent condition as well. Right, so that's enough with the vintage stuff. We're going to go into what was bought new. Okay, so this is sort of birthday money and what have you. Now, those of you who... let's actually start with my birthday. The Elvis film soundtrack was a great birthday present. We saw the Elvis film and thought it was absolutely brilliant. I have to say, going into the Oscars, my personal opinion, which is completely irrelevant and not required at all, I thought Austin Butler was robbed of the Oscar. I know it went to Brendan Fraser for his performance in The Whale, and that was a very good performance, but I think this was a personality inhabiting role for Austin Butler. I think he was absolutely brilliant as Elvis, and I think he should have got the Oscar, but what do anyone care what I think? So this is the soundtrack to the Elvis movie by Baz Luhrmann. Anyone who's sort of seen Baz Luhrmann films knows that he sort of juxtapositions his movies with songs that by rights don't belong there, you know, and this is no exception. So, you know, you've got Eminem and stuff like that in here. You've got Stevie Nicks, people like that. It's basically no one who would have been around while Elvis was doing his songs, but it works, and there's a lot of sort of mash-up stuff going on in there as well. So it is an absolutely brilliant soundtrack. It's a great film, brilliant soundtrack. I love me a good soundtrack. Up there as my favourite soundtracks, you know, you've got things like The Wrath of Khan, absolutely phenomenal piece of music. You've got High Fidelity, Pulp Fiction, things like that don't just use written music, that use music to go alongside. But anyway, yes, the Elvis soundtrack. So as well, anybody who's following my guitar tuition channels knows that I've gone a bit crazy for Wish You Were Here. And this is why, because I'm going to open it, I purchased the Wish You Were Here album to continue my collecting of all the Pink Floyd albums. Now, I do have all the vintage, old, I suppose you could say, versions of all the Pink Floyd albums, but I want them all new. And a few years ago, Pink Floyd did start to reissue all their vinyls sort of as original packaging. So you can see here with Wish You Were Here, it's got the original, and I'm really loath to actually remove it. And at the moment, I'm not going to. It's got this original shrink wrap packaging that the original Wish You Were Here album had. It's almost to sort of say, we wish the cover was here as well. So everything was this spirit of absence with the Wish You Were Here album. So yeah, so I've been going through and I've been uploading videos from the Wish You Were Here the Wish You Were Here album. So we did Wish You Were Here, which you can see up there and down there. We did Have a Cigar, Welcome to the Machine, and Shine On You Crazy Diamond, blah, blah, blah. Basically all the great ones that are on here. It's one of their best. It really is. I did my Pink Floyd albums ranked, you know, my favourite Pink Floyd albums vlog a few months ago, and that's proven to be quite popular. So if I can't put it there, I might have run out of tags for up there in the corner, but I'll certainly stick it down there in the description. That's there. Now this one as well, this one was a, you know, birthday money gift vouchers and stuff, because this is quite an expensive one, but I didn't pay full price for it. I did, you know, chip away at it with vouchers and stuff. But I've wanted this for years, and it's Pulse, Pink Floyd Pulse. I'm so happy that I've got it. The thing that separates it from the CDs and what have you is it's got one of these days on it, which they have now added to the download, not to the download, to the streaming. They've now put one of these days on the streaming, but you know, not on the CD. So for a long time, if you wanted an audio copy of one of these days, the Pulse vinyl box set was the only way you could get it. But anyway. So yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, this tour holds a lot of fond memories for me, because it was this tour, this iteration of Pink Floyd, that got me into Pink Floyd and has subsequently, you know, chiseled my life as a musician. So I've been wanting the Pulse vinyl box set for a really, really, really long time. And it was sort of a case of, well, if you're not going to buy it, well, you've got these gift vouchers, when are you going to buy it? So yeah, it's 4 vinyl. So this is, you know, vinyl 1, Shine On, Astronomy Domine, What Do You Want From Me, Learning to Fly, Keep Talking, Coming Back to Life, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go through them all. So yes, there's vinyl 1. There's vinyl 2. Vinyl 3, yes. And number 4. Absolutely wonderful. Controversially, it is my favourite era of Pink Floyd, and although it is my favourite era, my sort of big problem with this record is it doesn't represent in any way a genuine live performance from that tour. Basically what they've done is they've put Dark Side of the Moon on the second half, which is fair enough, but then rather than doing the first half of the concert as, you know, the same set list as what the Dark Side of the Moon set list was, they've just sort of put everything else that they performed, or a massive amount of everything else that they played on that tour, as side 1. So you've got like 13 songs on side 1 in no order at all, like they would have performed them. It's like a bad shuffle in a way. You know, like Hey You is in the middle of the first half when it was actually performed as the encore on the non-Dark Side of the Moon set. You've got like Shine On You Crazy Diamond and Astronomy Domine together. It's a bit of a strange one. What I think would have been a better idea would have been to do a non-Dark Side of the Moon set, and then the Dark Side of the Moon suite as like a bonus disc, I suppose you could say. But anyway, it was never up to me, and I'm sure they don't care at all what my opinion on the matter is. I did do, for anyone who's interested, I did do a playlist, which again, I'm doing a lot of linking down in the descriptions today. I will put down there just as like a what the non-Dark Side of the Moon set list was. I think it's a much better set than the Dark Side of the Moon set, when I think the non-Dark Side set is much better. So anyway, there you go. Rant over. Which brings me to this. Mick Fleetwood and Friends celebrate the music of Peter Green and the early years of Fleetwood Mac. The deluxe box set. This is huge and one of the most ridiculous purchases I've ever made. How this has come about, I did not pay the list price of this box set is 125 quid, and I did not pay that by a long way. What happened was I was listening to Guy Pratt and Gary Kemp do a fantastic podcast called The Raconteurs, where they interview their musical buddies, and they did one with Mick Fleetwood, and he was waxing very lyrically about this set, which features loads and loads of people, including one Mr. David Gilmour, performing Peter Green songs. Now, when this first came out, I didn't pay it much mind. I streamed it and I listened to it, and I did think at the time, well, I'm not going to buy that, because who can do Peter Green justice? No one can. No one touches the guitar like Peter Green touched the guitar. And so the songs were sort of passable cover versions, as far as I'm concerned, of old Fleetwood Mac stuff. So I thought, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to buy it. I'll stream it every now and then when I'm in the mood, but I'm not going to spend any money on it. But then I listened to this Mick Fleetwood interview, and obviously this is now 3 years later, nearly 4 years later. And I thought, I wonder if there's any chance I can get this second hand anywhere. I'll pay, you know, 10, 15 quid for it on Blu-ray maybe. So I did a search, and to my astonishment, and I don't know when you're watching this, so I don't know if this is still the case, but in, you know, August 2023, the official Mick Fleetwood website was selling this deluxe box set. This is 4 vinyls, a book, all of this wonderful photography, the concert film on Blu-ray, and the CDs. So 2 CDs, Blu-ray, 4 vinyl, big picture book thing in this giant box. They were selling this retail price of £125 for £30, which was ridiculous. And I thought, that's a mistake. Someone's going to get fired about that. So I ordered it, thinking when I ordered it, any minute now I'm going to get an email from the Mick Fleetwood website saying, oh, we're really sorry, we've sold out, or there's been a mistake, we'll refund your money. And they didn't. Here it is. And I have to be honest, I still don't think anybody can touch Peter Green's playing with a barge pole, but it does make a better visual concert experience than a listening one. I don't know if it's just been mixed quite poorly. It is quite a dry recording, actually. But as a visual experience, I did enjoy it a lot more than just listening to it. I do think some of the choices of artists are a bit strange. I mean, thank goodness you've got real blues people turning up, like Johnny Lang representing, and you've got John Mayall as well. But there's some, like, you've got Steven Tyler turns up, and Kirk Hammett, and Billy Gibbons, and Pete Townsend, and certainly Noel Gallagher, and not to take anything away from them as rock musicians, but that's what they are. They are rock musicians. Do they have the chops to pull off such amazing blues work, vocally and guitar playingly? I don't know. I suppose it's in the ear of the listener, really, is how you think about that. I hope we get more of this, actually, though. I hope Fleetwood, now that he's sort of gone on record with the sad loss of Christine McVie, who was also on this, he's sort of gone on record saying that's it for Fleetwood Mac. I hope he does more of this. I hope he puts together like a core band and just tours this. You know, very much like Nick Mason has done with The Saucer Full of Secrets. I could imagine Mick Fleetwood. And just as a core band of early Fleetwood Mac, I think that would be wicked. But anyway, there you go. So that's it from the new purchases. Now, anybody who's a regular to the Vinyl Corner vlog that I do, will know that what I do is I go through the new purchases I've made, a little bit of extra waffle on those, and then discuss a random pulling of vinyl out of my collection. And this month we are on F. And speaking of Fleetwood Mac, that's all I've got under F in my collection. And here is what I've got Fleetwood Mac wise in my collection. This is an absolutely wonderful compilation. This is kind of what got me into very early Fleetwood Mac. This is, I really would recommend anybody getting this. This is sort of the greatest hits of that same era that is being represented here. So you've got all your Albatross, your Black Magic Woman, you know, Need Your Love So Bad, Oh Well, and all that sort of stuff. It's a wonderful compilation, and I've actually got 2 of them. We're sort of into the, I don't like it when people call them the wilderness years, because there's some great material. Is you've got, you know, the Penguin album, which was in that sort of middle, it's sort of in between the sort of core early years members leaving and pre Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks joining. There's quite a lot of really good stuff in there. Certainly the Bob Welsh era of Fleetwood Mac. I would definitely advise anybody into checking that out. Then we get into the big money. So you've got the Fleetwood Mac album, the first one with Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. Amazingly, I don't have Rumours. But here's Tusk. Here is the live album in support of Tusk. They've just done a reissuing. In fact, they're sort of slowly doing reissuings of all of these. So I think I might have to sort of start looking at Fleetwood Mac as a new collection. Mirage. Couple couple of Tango in the Night. This is the Tango in the Night album. This is the Tango in the Night album. This is the greatest hits of that sort of Buckingham Nicks era. So you've got Rihanna, Don't Stop, Go Your Own Way, blah, blah, blah. And finally, the Behind the Mask album, which I haven't listened to. I just sort of saw it for £4 in the charity shop. I think this is the last one with Christine McVie on it, but I might be wrong. And this was, I think this is also the last one that Stevie Nicks did before she left for the first time. I don't know. That sort of era of Fleetwood Mac, the post-Buckingham era of Fleetwood Mac, I'm not massively up on. But anyway, there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this trip down vinyl lane. Please subscribe to all my stuff. Follow all the links down there. And we'll see you next time, boys and girls. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.